Hello, I am Glenn Dyer, and you are watching A Dyer-Situation. Today, I am going to be seeing The Hobbit 2, The Desolation of Smaug. Smaug. Whatever. If you're wondering what my opinion on the first movie was, see the Hobbit review with Alex. Yeah. So anyway, I am so-so about this movie. The first one definitely did not live up to the standards of Lord of the Rings, that's for sure. But then again, I did find it rather enjoyable. The second one I'm more seeing because I kind of want to get the full feel of the trilogy here, or what would it be after it's done, the sextilogy? Yeah, whatever. So yeah, you know, I'm just kind of watching it. I'm not going to expect too much. I think I expect a little more than the movie could bring when I saw The Hobbit. So now I'm not going to, yeah. But what else is there to say, really? I think it's a little silly that they had to split it up into 3 movies. Especially since I learned of all the stuff that was shoved in there and all that, and of course the first one had that weird thing with 2 different plots kind of going on, like 2 different enemies that they were building up. I don't know. I'm just hoping that even though it is based on small source material, that they kind of like, what's a good example? Like take, like, you know how like Disney took all those old fairy tales, like kind of short tales, and then turned them into a long, rather entertaining movie? I hope that's what's going on here, and it's not just cashing out on the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I hope that there is like an actual like thing that's being built out of that, even though it was a smaller novel, that there is actually something bigger that is being built upon it. So yeah, I guess I'll see you after the movie's over. And here I am once again. So, what did I think of this movie? It was alright, overall. Still, definitely not leading up to the standards of that Lord of the Rings set. No heavy set themes, no really interesting characters. Those dwarves, though they did get a little more character development than last time, still leaving some to be desired. Admittedly, there is a lot of them, and I think that is apart from the book too, but they could have done something more, I feel. They did try a little, though. They, like, I'm starting to see a semblance of personality from each of them, but they're very far away from being 3-dimensional characters, except for maybe the leader of the dwarf pack. Something very interesting about this film, there's very little Bilbo Baggins in it. I hope that's not much of a spoiler, but those bits you see in all the trailers of Bilbo Baggins, that's honestly about it. He's mainly in the background, and the whole story is about stuff that happens, and other stuff that happens. Let me just know, there is a bit of it that annoys me. It's a little, it's a little cliche, I'm not gonna lie. Much more than the first one even was. In fact, so cliche that I can actually predict a few things that will happen in the next movie, and without a doubt going to happen because of how they set it up. It's not going to be very surprising to anyone. But I'm not going to get into that now. I'll issue a spoiler alert later. Just to give you my overall opinion, it was alright. You know, I suggest seeing it if you like the first one, and yeah, even if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, it might be nice to see how it goes on. However, if you're looking for, like, the grandeur and all that Lord of the Rings brought, then you're not gonna get it, really. It also has kind of a pretty bad ending. Like, it kind of gets cut off, almost. It's as if they were just in the middle of filming a scene, and then Peter Jackson was like, "Holy crap, man! I've almost reached 3 hours. The audience can't take it past that. Let's just end the movie here. You know, add some dark, ominous music, and it's over. There you go. End of the movie. Wait till next one." No, honestly, it was one book. I know it's hard to tell. It doesn't look like it's rounding up to be what I was kind of hoping for at the beginning of this video, where, like, though it is very different from the old one, that they add a bunch of new stuff in there and it makes it so it's its own thing. Like, you know, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves is different from the original tale. It made it its own, really. But this one just seems to be really stretched out. I've never even read the book, and I can tell there is some pretty stretched out bits in there. But, yeah, what can I say? It's probably a little better than the first one, but not by much. So, yeah. Alright, as of now, I am issuing an official spoiler alert. Okay? If you have any semblance of interest in watching the movie, please turn off this video now. Okay? Have you turned it off? Okay. For those of you still watching, here are those cliches that I know will happen in the third movie. I am certain they will happen. Okay, let me just set up this whole thing for you. Apparently, there was this big spear gun thing that they used to shoot at the dragon Smaug when it attacked the city. And it had like 4 different spears, and supposedly the guy missed all of them with this one, but there was a rumor that he chipped off a bit of it. And apparently it's the only kind of thing that can cut the dragon or something. And later on we find that he has one of them left, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll get it." And of course we do find out that his grandfather, when the one that everyone thought missed all those times, he did in fact scrape off a bit, and it's exposing a bit of his skin, you know. Right. That's the setup for one of them. Right, also in this movie, in the last one, it set up that there was this, white orc, who's like the Grand White Orc or something stupid, and he's evil, you should be afraid of him, he's a great villain, he does so many things. And in this movie, it introduced that he has, like, this big, muscly sidekick who's like, "I'll take care of him now, rarg, rarg." And, you know, they had a few battles with them, but of course, neither of them get harmed, and Gandalf eventually fights the big white orc that we're all supposed to be afraid of, and he loses. But, so that's the setup for the other one. And the last thing is that Bilbo was sent into the whole, fortress that the dragon's in, so he could collect this magical jewel that will, for some reason, unite all the dwarves against him or something. I have no idea why they won't just unite anyway. I mean, it's to get a bunch of gold, which supposedly the dwarves like, but, yeah, whatever. Suspension of disbelief, I guess. Supposed to get this one jewel, but the dragon was telling him, like, "Oh yeah, man, you really think he's looking out for you? He's just looking out for that jewel, man." And then like later, when he's asking him, was like, "Where's the jewel? Where's the jewel?" He's like, "Come on, we gotta go." And, you know, he's not answering him. Alright, so those are the 3 setups. Here are my predictions, alright? These are the 3, if you saw the movie, the 3 very easily predictable things that are gonna happen in that next movie. Like, I can't believe how obvious they made them. It's almost childish. Okay, so the first one. That arrow he has, it is somehow, some way, going to end up dead center in that old wound. It's not going to create a new wound. It's not going to go like in his eye or something. It's going to go dead center into the wound that was created. And slay a dragon. That is how it is going to die. Alright? That is my first cliche. Second one. Both of those white orcs, the big scary white orc that was in the first Hobbit and that muscly one that looks kind of the same that was introduced in this one. They are both going to die. That is my second cliche that is going to happen. Very predictable. Alright? And the third one, Bilbo Baggins is currently hiding that jewel on his person. They're trying to hide it like, oh no, is he? You never actually saw him pick it up. He's fucking hiding it. They make it so obvious that he is hiding it. And he's just testing him. I'm not even sure why they're bothering with that. I am so certain of these cliches that, you know what? I am eventually going to review the last movie, whatever it is. And if all three of those cliches aren't there in their entirety, I am going to don this. This is the bonehead hat. It is for when I am a bonehead. Because I will be a bonehead if not all three of those in their entirety. And I mean entirety, like if only one of those orcs die, I'll have to wear this. If the jewel is actually laying in some cavern somewhere and he has to go get it, I will wear this. If that arrow actually hits him in his heart instead of the open wound, I will wear this. So, yeah, you'll have to look out for that. And I'll wear it all throughout the second half of the video. I can't really wear it throughout the first half because I don't know at that point. So yeah. One last thing to mention before I sign off here is the climax. Okay, if you've seen the movie, you might know what I mean. But, goddamn, that is one of the dumbest climaxes I've ever seen. Like, it's not that it's cliche, it's that it doesn't make any sense. Like, so they're trapped inside of the mountain and they need to find a way to either get out or kill the dragon. So, what do? Is they're like, we gotta light these furnaces. They never explain why, of course. They're just like, we gotta light the furnaces, or it's not hot enough. So they have the dragon light the furnaces. And then the furnaces power this water thing that starts all these stuff moving, which coincidentally tangles up the dragon. I'm not sure how they could predict that would happen. Tangles him up, and then the furnaces start pumping gold everywhere. And they're like, okay, what are they using the gold for? And then we find out the gold goes into this giant statue. Perfectly formed statue. And the dragon's like, whoa, look at that statue. And then just as his face is next to it, it melts somehow. Like it just... and it melts all over him, and they of course try to fake us out into thinking he's dead, which of course he isn't. I'm just thinking to myself, how did they come up with such an overly complicated plan that fast? I mean, it involves so many factors to have it work, and even when it was completely successful, it didn't even work! Like, what were they expecting? Like, when he was covered in molten gold, he'll just die? This is a guy that's withstood all of your weapons so far. You think melted gold will kill him? Like, I'm really not sure what the thought process was. It just seemed like, we gotta have something happen. We gotta have a climax to this movie, you know? I wanted to end it soon on that amazing ending where he's flying off to that tiny city, which probably has like a population of like 5. And Bilbo's like, what have we done? You know, I think that would be a little better if maybe it hadn't been entirely obvious that that might happen. But, you know, just really badly set up. I was very disappointed with that ending. The rest of the movie is fine. You'll get all of the, you know, your fun action scenes and all that. They're a little hard to see, of course, but I guess that's the modern age now. The rest of the movie is totally fine, you know. It is worth a watch, I think, if you're into this stuff. But that ending and that climax just really put me out of it. So, until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching A Dire Situation.